How are we doing, guys? So I thought I'd do a quick one today on the Graco Edge 2 Plus HVLP gun. So if you've gone and got this kit and you just feel like you're restricted to the main pot, even though we're able to spray upside down at any angle due to the flexi system, there are actually other options available to us. As you know, I've just got the standard Pro Contractor turbine, so mine hasn't come with the pressure pot attachment or the built-in compressor. This is the Qtech pressure pot. It's the same with the Fuji pressure pot. So long as it's a turbine pressure pot, it will be interchangeable. So again, we can interchange brands so long as our turbine supports the pressure pot. A minimum of a 4-stage unit, you can use one of the pressure pot systems on there, and they are interchangeable between the brands, so Apollo, Fuji, Qtech, Graco, etc. If we want to take a look at the pressure pot, and all that we've got as a base is the Edge 2 Plus gun, then these aren't going to be compatible straight out of the box. Now that's because, if we just take the air hose off, when we connect our fluid hose up to the pressure pot, what we're going to end up with is that's going to fit on nicely there, but we're met with a female-female connection. Now often when you're using a pressure pot, it's because you've wanted either the freedom of movement or just to spray that extra bit of material. So we do like the versatility to move back to the pot or to move back to the gravity if we need any touch-ups, or just to use a little bit less material if we're revisiting any areas. So what Graco suggests is you get the male thread and you would replace the old female hat one with the male thread, and then that way what you're going to have is a connection that will work straight onto the fluid hose from the pressure pot system. And then if we wanted to move back to the pot, we would then be stuck with that on the gun, and again we can't connect it. So what you can get is this little male-male connection. It slots onto the gun, fasten it up at the gun, and then that leaves us with a male thread so that we can connect to our paint hose, and again the paint hose can be connected at the pressure pot end. So if you're wanting to use the pressure pot, you would also need to get rid of this air hose that's on the gun at the minute. Now when you get the pressure pot system, it should generally come with a couple of rubber grommets. So this has got quite a few in there. I've got another one here just to show you. Now you just pop that on like that. So that just seals that one up. So then what we would do is we'd connect our fluid line up, and we would have a main hose running from the turbine to the pressure pot, and then a whip hose from that end to the gun. So the way it works is the turbine supplies air all the way through, and on its way through it steals a bit of air and feeds it into the pot, and that's how the paint's then forced through the line to the end of the gun. So then if we've finished using the pressure pot and now we want to go back to using the pot, all we would do is take off our new connection, leave it on the hose end, and then we can go straight back on to using the pot. And that's just a simplified version to save changing the housing around if you just want to swap between pressure pot and Edge 2 Plus gun as standard. So if we've got the Edge 2 Plus gun and we've gone and ordered the gravity cup conversion, if you've got an Edge 2 Plus gun, you would order the cup for the Edge 2 Plus. If you've just got an Edge 2, you would order for the Edge 2. Now if for whatever reason you're looking to replace your flexi liner cup, if you've broke it or you're looking for a gravity, then it's cheaper to pick up and buy an alternative gravity cup system than it is to replace that. You might find that you can spray a few thicker materials with the gravity cup because gravity is doing the work for you. What you get in there is you get a new housing kit, and this one's coming with the male thread already in there. New gravity cup, and some instructions in there. It's about 500 ml to the max fill line. So it's not a litre, but it's a nice variation to having the standard suction or the flexi line system. I've seen a couple of videos saying that you don't need a new female housing and that they're all the same. They're not. Now mine's the original gun, and I don't know if they've changed this in later production. So what I'm going to show you is, if you just take the cup off, and we're just going to quickly strip it down. It doesn't take any time at all. I'm just going to show you why I'm going to change the housing. Now in some of the videos they say that you would just purchase this additional part here with the threads from Graco. Then we would just slightly unscrew the big nut in front of the trigger. That would then allow us to just pull it out enough to rotate and lock in. The older model guns don't have the position to lock in when it's flipped around 180 degrees, and I'll show you why. Just take the needle assembly out. Just finish unscrewing that big nut off. The nozzle housing comes off. So this is my original one, and they say that once it's in, it's connected. It's in a fixed position for the suction cup. And all that we would do is just loosen that back nut up, and we can rotate 180 degrees and it fits and clicks in. They don't, not all of them do. I'll show you why. Because on the new housing, we can see, and it's got one metal nipple there. So that fits in, and it's connected and locked in there. If we rotate, then that metal nipple on the back has got nowhere to slot into. Now that's why this part comes into play, because the new one, as you can see, has got two holes in. So we would have been unable to connect that gravity cup if we didn't have this new housing. So there, the new one locks in, pull it out a little bit, locks in. So as simple as it is, we're just going to change the housing. So all it would do is feed it through, just so you can see it, to just thread the nut over it. So if you just hover the nut over the hole and then push it up, it's a bit easier to then thread it. And once you've just got it threaded, so long as you don't tighten it too far, we can then rotate that. So the bonus is we've now got a new housing which is going to work with the gravity cup system, because it locks into place when it's rotated, and it's going to work when it's rotated back down for the suction at the pressure pot. Put the nut back in the back, put your needle assembly back in, and then just take the lid off. Tighten up the pot, put the lid on. Now you can either keep the barb that's on there, unscrew that one, or pull the hose off, pull the hose off the barb end there, and then you would just fasten that in. So there we go. If we connect that up, we've now got a gravity system. And generally speaking, if I were going to buy the gravity cup, I probably wouldn't end up changing back to the suction or the flexi liner cup. I quite prefer the gravity cup systems. So if I've been using the gravity cup and I want to go back to using the flexi liner cup system, what I personally would do is change the housing back to the female hat instead of changing out that metal bit. It's easier. I find it's easier because all that you're doing is taking the needle assembly out, which is a 20-second job as it is. So all you're going to need is a little adjustable spanner just to undo that big nut at the back, and then that just allows us to then swap the housing over. Personally, that's what I would do. Now, if we've gone and bought the gravity cup system and we're then looking to buy a pressure pot, then this is the Qtech pressure pot. It's the same with the Fuji pressure pot. So long as it's a turbine pressure pot, it will be interchangeable. So again, we can interchange brands so long as our turbine supports the pressure pot. So because we've now got the gravity cup system and we've got the new housing with the thread on, all that we would do is we would just undo the nut at the back, lock it back in, and then that's going to connect up to our fluid line for the pressure pot, and also allow us to then, when we've done with that, if we want to spray smaller areas, go back to the gravity cup. So there you go, that's the Graco Edge 2 Plus and the variations that we can do. So again, pressure pot systems, so long as you're running a minimum of a 4-stage unit, you can use one of the pressure pot systems on there, and they are interchangeable between the brands, so Apollo, Fuji, Qtech, Graco, etc. And it just opens up a bit more freedom for you. If you, as I say, if you're spraying plenty of material and you don't want to keep topping up your pot. So there we go. You know, the gravity cup is a good option really if you've, as I say, got a damaged cup, or you're just wanting a bit more flexibility and freedom and a little bit less weight off of your arm. But if you're going to be spraying quite a lot, then for the extra bit of money, I'd go with a pressure pot. I think that they're a brilliant addition to the HVLP units, and as I say, you've just not got the pot on there, so the weight that you're saving and the manoeuvrability that you've gained is really beneficial. So that's it, some variety, just a mix. So, I'll catch you in the next one. So that's it. Hopefully that's answered a lot of your questions. If I've missed anything out, just let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you with some answers. But yeah, hopefully that's covered everything. So smash that like button, hit subscribe. All those things really help the channel grow. So I'll catch you in the next one.